Hi y'all. Hey, welcome to Womanology. This is Ria Jackson with Ria's Notebook. You know what? I never said my last name on this. So you may need to scratch it out because I want y'all looking up me on Casement because I'm really a pimp. Oh my goodness, my goodness. But today we have Lauren. You want to introduce yourself?
Oh, sure. My name is Lauren Spearman. I am a empowerment speaker. I also by day I work for Delta Airlines, so
Mm-hmm.
I have the 9 to 5 and the 5 to 9, if you know what that's like. But yeah, I just love speaking to people, sharing my story, helping people to share their stories. And I
Mm-hmm.
just feel like my purpose is to let people know that there's nothing they have endured in life that they cannot bounce back from with the help of God and a good village and belief in themselves.
I love it. I love it. Okay. So I got a question. I know we
Okay.
start now. So here at Womenology, we normally do like what's your emoji today? And then like I like to do a
Ooh.
little icebreaker, right?
Okay.
So what's your emoji for today?
My emoji for today. I'm gonna go with. I think it's just gonna be the laughing emoji. I think that's what I'm gonna go with. I've
Yes.
had a very comical type of day. One of my
Yes.
favorite things to do amongst me and my friends is to send memes back and forth. Um,
Oh yes.
so we have been definitely flooding each other with memes all day. So I'm in a very laughable, lighthearted type of mood.
Okay, cool. So for me, I think I'm just excited. So I have the excited emoji because I'm like excited. I'm just so excited to start the conversation. So excited for you to feed the people with your wisdom and your knowledge. I mean, because womenology, we need to be empowering other women. So I'm
Absolutely.
excited, laughing because I have been laughing a lot. Things have been hilarious, laughing, but very serious because some of this stuff in the news. Have you heard about the Pakistan
Oh my gosh.
lady?
Yes, I have.
Girl, this Pakistan. So, for those who are listening, this lady who's from New York or from Philadelphia, I'm not exactly sure where she's from, but I hear a East Coast accent. Let's just say that. And so she then flew over to Pakistan because she was supposed to get married to a Pakistani 19-year-old kid to me, but she was supposed to get married. And so family moved away. They kind of dished her, like, no, we're not marrying you. It was literally a joke. It was a hoax. It was a scam, you know? And so she said, no, we're not having that. So this lady is over in Pakistan. Like, I need the government to send me $200,000 per week. I need this and I need that. She done
Yes.
made friends. She got her money. I don't know if it was all what she asked for,
Wait, who
but
gave her money?
I did see a video of her counting money from the, and I'm guessing now it's from the Pakistani government or whoever. I don't know.
I am so tickled. When I watched it, what really stood out to me was the fact that they were interviewing different men in the Pakistani
Yes,
community, and they were just like, we are men of our word. We don't ghost anybody. We don't ditch anybody. He needs to honor his commitment. He
yes.
needs to marry her. And then in the next couple of clips, there are men who are offering to make good on the promise and to marry her. And
Oh,
I'm like,
oh.
what?
When I say if the audacity, you know what? I want to have as much audacity and as much
Yes.
confidence and as much bravery as she is presenting.
Yes.
Because, baby, look, she is over there. She's like, y'all did me wrong. Somebody's going to pay. And she's not leaving empty handed. Like, she got a place to stay now. She done got her little money. Like you said, she got her suitors lined up. She is fine.
But that's a very good point. It's something about having audacity. If everybody was as bold as she was to just ask for what they want, you
Hmm.
never know what you'll actually get.
You
If
never know.
you never know, you might get a yes, but we have to be bold enough to just put it out there unapologetically, like, this is what I want, and I'm not leaving until I get it.
You know what? That's the truth. And you miss every shot that you don't take. So for now
Yep.
in 2025 on forward, I'm shooting every shot. I
Every
am
shot.
shooting. every shot, because clearly, if, and of course, I do see some mental health issues in the lady, particularly because her son stated that she was in a manic episode. And then it is a video of her talking ill about her child, and I'm not going to state what she said because that's not here at Womanology. We promote positivity. But I
Mhm.
mean, you do see some stuff, but overall she is making a bad situation turn
She took her
positive.
lemons and made them lemonade. And
She
so, yes,
definitely did.
I'm
So
definitely going to adopt that along with you for 2025. We have nothing to lose and everything to gain. So let's
we
shoot those
shooting them
shots.
shots. We shooting shots in 2025. Straight up. So, okay, here's another icebreaker, right? So that's our emoji. That's how we're feeling. And then, like, normally I would ask what you're listening to, but this time I want to ask, like, what's your hidden talent? Like, what's something that don't nobody
Mm.
know about?
I really don't have any like interesting hidden talents as far as like some supernatural flexibility or I can't sing, I can't
Not
rap.
supernatural flexibility.
Um you know how some people can like they're double jointed and stuff. I don't have
Mhm.
any of that.
Oh,
I
me
would
neither.
just say that a lot of people don't know that I'm as funny as I am. A lot of people see me and
Mm.
they're just like, "Oh, she's a church girl," or
Mhm.
she's like super serious and super positive, and they really don't know. My real friends know that I am super super funny and witty, and
Uh-huh.
yeah. So a lot of people don't know that about me.
Yeah, so I can piggyback off that. So, I am funny, but I'm like dark humor funny. So like,
Oh, I
don't
like dark humor too.
don't go too deep. Like I'll take it there. But I guess my hidden talent would be I can sing. So that's a hidden talent for me. Um, but yeah, I'm very kind of comical and like really, yeah, morbid at times. So
But
that would be it.
I appreciate all types of humor because even in dark humor is I love the clever wit of
Yeah.
dark humor. So I can appreciate dark humor too.
Yeah, but also, you mentioned something, because people sometimes feel that because you are in a church and
Mhm.
you have a consistent and constant relationship with God, and it is, basically what you are, that's your purpose, right? That's what you're doing. That's,
Mhm.
it's nothing else that goes before Him. And sometimes people do think, like, hey, um, is it comedy in your life? Is it fun in your life? Is it joy? Is it always seriousness? And I don't think others understand that it's always joy in the Lord. Like it's
Oh,
always
absolutely.
joy no matter what. And then I think a lot of times it's a scripture in the Bible where it says that you should go and be like childlike, which is like being joyful, which is being kiddish, which is being, embracing all opportunities and having that audacity. So I don't think others
Absolutely.
understand. Like, hey, you can still be positive and I don't want to say rejoicing, but you can still be, I guess, yourself.
It's all
Even
about balance.
yeah.
Yeah. Because too much of anything, is bad. So everything you want to do in moderation. And I feel like when we talk about God, if we want to draw other people closer to Him, we don't want to present that they have to fit into this rigid picture
Of course
of
not.
religiosity in order to be a Christian. That's not the case. In order to love God, that's not the case. We have fun just like anybody else.
Anybody
We
else,
just
like I think I kick it more. Like I think I'm
probably
just
so, but
more.
but we're just conscious of trying to still live a righteous life while having fun.
Yeah, and then another thing is being a righteous life doesn't mean it's not fun. It
Right.
doesn't mean like some things that you don't find joy in. Because honestly speaking, like, do you really find joy in talking bad about others? Are you like really happy about like doing mean and towards other people? Like, does that really bring you joy?
No, that's misery, and misery loves company, and I try to stay away from that. I
Girl,
like
that is
what do they say?
misery.
I don't do the low vibrational
That's what
type
I'm
of
saying.
behavior. If it's going to drain me, drain my energy, I don't want any parts of it. I'm attracted to
That's what I'm
people
saying. That's
who are in their bag, in their purpose, happy, joyful. Now, everybody's going to have their moments, but it's about how you
Mhm.
handle those moments.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So tell me more about how you became more of an empowerment women speaker. I know somewhat of your journey and somewhat how you got there, but for Womenology listeners, can you just, give us a rundown?
Absolutely. So 2017, let me tell you,
Oh,
that was
oh,
a year
2017.
that was a year for me that I will never forget because it was the year that everything about my life, where I thought it was going, when I thought my norm was completely challenged. I
Mhm.
was nearing the end of a relationship that was on and off for about 10 years of my adult life,
Is
lived
this your son's
together.
father?
Lived
Okay.
together, had a son together, and then my daughter, he is really the only father that she knew as well.
Mhm.
So all of my friends around me were getting married, and I just knew that that is where we were headed, was to marriage. So when that relationship began to fall apart, because we were just, we got together young,
Mhm.
very, very young, and we were trying to parent each other in a lot of ways, or point
Mhm.
out the things that each other needed to change versus embracing and loving each other through our evolutions and as we were. So
Mhm.
it was just, breaking down bit by bit. And I can say this now because, we're excellent friends, but when that situation started to break down, I realized that I didn't really know who I was outside of
Mhm.
the different hats that I wore and the roles that I played. I knew that I got up and I went to work. I knew that I was
Mhm.
a mom to the children. I knew that I was a partner to him, but I really didn't know who I was, what I wanted to do, what my dreams were, because at that time my dream was just marriage, the white
Right.
picket fence, the happily ever after.
Right.
So when that began to break down, I broke down because I
Mhm.
was like, well, wait a minute. Now, I don't know which way is up. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I feel like I'm hitting rock bottom because everything that I know and love, I feel like it's being stripped away from me. And at that rock bottom moment, I had a conversation with someone at the time who challenged me. And they said, what is it that you would do if money was not a factor? If you
Mhm.
could do anything you wanted to do and make a living out of it, what is it that you would do? And I said, I feel like I want to help people who feel like me. And I want to let them know that they can come out of any situation that they are faced with. And so we started to kind of talk through, what that looked like. Okay, well, what type of things are you listening to? Who are you watching? Who are you following? And they connected me to the ministry of a one Sarah Jakes Roberts.
Mhm.
And when I started to follow her ministry and watch her and hear her story about how she had a teenage pregnancy and something that was supposed to just shame her and count her out and make her a black sheep, and she took that pain and she
And she
turned it
turned
into
up.
purpose,
Yeah.
my life was forever changed. And I said, that's what it looks like. That's what I want to do. I don't want to necessarily be her, but I
Mhm.
want to be able to impact people with my story the way that she does. I want to be able to recognize something in women that may be a broken area for them or maybe a place of hopelessness for them. And I want to be able to give them hope. And at that moment, I woke up the next day, I kid you not. I had been going through a depressive state where at the time I wasn't even really getting dressed in the morning. I wasn't even really cognizant of who
Mhm.
was around me. I was literally in a dark place.
Right.
But the very next day after having that revelation, I woke up, I
Mhm.
went to Instagram, and I changed
Mhm.
my bio to say inspirational speaker
Mhm. Okay. I like that. I
without
also
any
like.
credentials. I just
No, wait
changed
a
it.
minute. It's a lot of inspirational speakers who don't have any credentials, who are GED people, and they are very inspirational and they're very smart and they come with a lot of wisdom. So you don't want to count out anyone just because they don't have those credentials,
Yeah.
because it's a lot of people that have wisdom based on past experiences. Like you can live a life
Mhm.
without a college degree. Um But yeah, but you mentioned something particular. You were like, I did not know who I was outside of my daily routine, outside of my hamster wheel. So getting the kids, being who I am to him, and then taking care of the house. Getting the kids, being who I am to him, and then taking care of the house. And then you stated once that broke, like your whole identity you had built for yourself shattered. Like it was gone. So in that portion, because your identity was stripped. So I think that would make anybody kind of go through a state of depression. I know previously we had Candace Graves who talked about her celibacy journey. And so she stated herself, she was like, she had to go through it because she didn't know who she was outside of that. She didn't know who she was. So she had to, again, strip herself to figure out that person, to just be like, okay, so I'm not this to this person, to this human, to this boyfriend, but I need to figure out who I am to myself. And
Yeah.
so I'm loving that we as women are learning that we got to figure out us before we're able to be mothers, wives, or anybody.
Absolutely
So
right.
yeah, I enjoy that. So I'm sorry. Please continue with your story. I just saw
Oh,
the commonality of, other guests saying like they really had to, figure out who they were.
yeah, you have to relearn yourself. So once I did that, I proclaimed it. I made this bold statement in my Instagram bio. Then I
Mm-hmm.
said, okay, well, now I have to live up to it. So I began to be immersed in all the things. I took a business class through Weibo at the time,
Mm-hmm.
that was doing a women's entrepreneurship program. I
Mm-hmm.
also enrolled in different developmental conferences, anything that I could go to in order to empower myself and enrich myself so that I could be better equipped to give my story out to the masses. That's what I did. And even
Mm-hmm.
a conference I went to in Atlanta is where I actually got my mentor, Dr. Ivy McGregor. She and I aligned through that conference. And the next thing I knew, I was having a photo shoot and printing business cards. And I was just off and hit the ground running because once I made that bold statement, that bold step in my bio, I said, I put it out here to the world. So now I have to live up to it and I have to really truly answer the call. And one of the things that I was most concerned with was I said, God, I don't want to mishandle your people. I don't want to mishandle anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So not only do I want you to give me the words to say to empower them, but I also want you to give me the words to say once they have been empowered and they're going to have to go back to their regular everyday life with the same triggers, with the same struggles. I want you to give me something that I can use to equip them going forward as well, because that was very important to me, because I've been to a lot of events where you get all hyped and charged up and then you leave and then Ray's calling again, and you get that late night text again,
Listen, that
and
is
it's like, now what?
true.
So that
No,
was
that's the
important to
truth. I'm
me.
happy that you say that. Like, you don't want to mislead anybody. If you know that this is your calling, this is your purpose to build in other women, to fill up other women, then why would you want to give them false information? Why would you
Exactly.
want to present to them something or narrative that isn't true, that doesn't have any basis, any background, any foundation? Like it's just feeding somebody leftovers or like a unnutritious meal, McDonald's. And
Yeah.
I love McDonald's, y'all. So like for real, but
It's a good guilty pleasure, but you're right. It's not for everyday consumption, basically.
Mhm, exactly. So I appreciate that. So you said you mentioned a mentor. How
Yes.
important is a mentor to women, do you feel? Like how important is a mentor to
So I
to
think
to women in general? Because you said you
everybody's
have, yeah.
different. Yeah, I think everybody's different. Everybody's journey is different. For me, I'm a lot, so I require a whole village. I got I got a pastor, a mentor, a coach, a couple of wise, friends that I consider wise counsel and confidants that aren't going to be yes women.
But
So
is that
I got a whole village.
I don't know. When people say they're a lot, are you really a lot, or are you willing to go to where what you need support? Because sometimes I think it's really good you can advocate for yourself because you need the support. It's okay to have as much quality support as possible to me.
So the reason why I say I'm a lot is because I am very dramatic, right? So I have this village, this core village that I know that I can go to, that are unbiased, that won't hold any judgment against me. That when
Hmm.
something happens to me and I'm in my Lauren initial reaction, and I'm thinking that, oh my gosh, this is the end of the world. Look at this is happening. What am I gonna do? And I'm so frazzled. They are able to reel me in and say, okay, Lauren, let's rein
Gotcha.
it back. Let's pick it apart one thing at a time.
Hmm.
Let's look at, the positives. Let's look at, okay, you are on the right track. And they are the ones who I call my crown straighteners, because they
Ooh.
are behind the scenes straightening my crown for me, so that when I do present myself to the rest of the world on social media or at
Hmm.
events, I look a lot more poised, and I look like I have it more together, because people don't know that meltdown
Hmm.
already happened behind the scenes, and those people got me through it.
Listen, I don't think people know. Like, I melt down like a lot. I do.
That's me.
I melt down a lot. I'll be like, breathe and cry and
Woosah.
breathe and cry. I get it done though. Don't get it twisted. I'm gonna get it done.
Oh yeah, we do for
But
sure.
I'm gonna be crying my little heart out.
And I work, the blessing and the curse is I work very well under pressure. And the
Yeah,
reason
me
why I
too.
say that that's a
Mhm.
curse is because a lot of times that means that I do sometimes wait to the last minute and procrastinate,
Mhm.
because I've just gotten used to the fact that I know God is going to give me what I need and pull me through, and it's going to be
That
amazing.
grace. Yeah.
That grace, and I don't know how much I got left, because I've been
I was
drawn
about
from
to
it a
say,
lot.
because sometimes it may run out.
But so that's me. So I get like so emotional, so flustered. But I'm just grateful to have a good village in my life. So it may not be a mentor for all women. I personally recommend one, because that's what works for me. But all I say is
Mhm.
find someone in your life. If it's not a mentor, let it be your spiritual covering, let it be a friend
Mhm.
that you trust, let it be a therapist, let it be a spouse or a partner. Find someone you trust that
Mhm.
you can glean from when you're having those moments where you're feeling out of sorts, or you need a little bit of direction, or you need to bounce ideas, because that is what will hold you together and keep you focused.
Yeah, I agree. Especially sometimes your friends are
Hmm.
sometimes it's like the blind leading the blind. I'm just going to be honest. It is, no, for real. Because, like sometimes it's just like you are struggling with the same issue, just not in the same time. And you didn't do it correctly. And we just, it's not good. It's just
And it
not.
depends on what the issue is, because what I found is when it's relationship issues, and you might have found this too, your friends, they ready to fight. They ready to go to bat for you,
Listen, they are
just
ready
like
to
that.
fight. They're ready to leave. And I'm like,
Yes.
you
And it's
cannot leave everybody. You cannot. You
like
cannot walk away
sometimes we
and
have to do
leave.
the work.
Yes, because sometimes I'm gonna be honest, y'all. Sometimes it do be us. You cannot get up and leave everybody because you're gonna be
Yeah.
alone. Like, you can't do that. So you're right. Your friends be wanting to fight. Your friends be wanting to hurry up and fix the solution, fix the problem, and it's not the correct solution.
Right.
Because sometimes you need talking to. You need to see different perspectives. You need to give people grace. You
Yes,
need to,
absolutely.
pray on a lot of situations because you never know who's in the wrong. It could be you, it could be them, but you do want to have the full picture. So you're right. Your friends be wanting to fight. So a mentor is really good for that. So, okay, I'm so excited, but go ahead and finish the rest of your story.
Oh no, that's pretty much, the meat and potatoes of it. So once I, got myself aligned with this dream team, with this squad and this village to support me, that's when I felt like I, was able to pitch myself for certain speaking
Hmm.
engagements and events. And it was like when I took that initial step, what do they say? When you take one step, God will take two.
Hmm.
So the
Hmm.
doors began to open where, I didn't have to pitch myself so much anymore, because, people were starting to reach out to me and see if I was available for different things and different opportunities. And I wish I could tell you that everything was happily ever after that. But what I will tell you is the honest to God truth.
Mm-hmm.
That is when the warfare really,
I
truly
was just about to
began.
ask you that. So after you set your purpose, right? You
Yep.
do what you're going to do. You started to get your engagements, speaking to the community, speaking to others about how you can be empowering to others as well. Then what came? What thunderstorm came in?
It was the enemy was at me at every turn, and that's how I know that I was in my purpose and I was
Doing the
walking
right
the
walk.
right path.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I tell you, all of a sudden there were associates that began to whisper certain things, and that I had to kind of look over my shoulder. I didn't really know if some people in my circle were for me or against me. There was a huge thing that I went through, whereas I was dating someone, to my knowledge, and really into this person, and had talked about taking the step of marriage
Mm-hmm.
with this
Marriage.
person.
Yeah.
And they were living out of state at the time, and
Mm-hmm.
everything, to my knowledge, was great. And then it
Mm-hmm.
was later revealed that that person was married. So then you
Mm-hmm.
have an empowerment speaker that is a faith based, inspirational Christian woman who is
With this
now having to
scandal.
sit with the fact that, unbeknownst to me, I was somebody's mistress.
And you had no idea.
No idea.
Yeah. And for some reason, though, and I know you've probably heard this a lot, it's a lot of women who are in these type of scandals and they don't have any idea. They like
Mhm.
literally is blindsided. And you're not the first one who have had this narrative of like, being the other woman when really you didn't even sign up to be
I
the
didn't
other
sign up
woman.
for
It
it
is.
at all. And it hit
Mm-mm.
me like a
And it
ton of
just,
bricks.
yeah.
And I see Daryl ask me, were they faith based too? Yes. And that's what was so surprising to me. When I tell you this man was so anointed, he could literally, that's why I thought that he was the one for me, quote unquote, because
Mm.
he could literally pray the walls down, cover
But
me, share scriptures with me. I
no,
was like,
ma'am.
oh, this is the one. He
No,
must
ma'am.
be sent by God.
That's how they get you though sometimes because I think it was Pastor Jamal Bryant had mentioned something when before he's married because he just recently got married. He had said that before that he was a trouble when he was back in the day when he was younger and he was a pastor. He said he
Mm-hmm.
was a mess. And that's how they get you. They say like, "Oh, God is leading me and I'm going to pray the house down for us." And all of a
Yep.
sudden you praying down two houses and you got two cell phones. And you trying to figure out which one is which and where to go where. So yeah, I just say that because for you, even though you did not sign up for that, and I apologize that you even had to go through that because I can tell at that time it really kind of dealt with your faith.
The I Only Listen to 90s Music podcast is a show for 80s babies who were 90s kids. If you were a No Limit soldier, then this is your show. If you believe that Cash Money is not an army but was a Navy, this is the show for you. If you and your friends ever tried to sing a song written by Escape, In Vogue, Shy, or Boyz II Men at a talent show during middle school, this is your show. The I Only Listen to 90s Music podcast is a bunch of 80s babies talking about all the songs and things that we loved when we were kids and teenagers. So if you went to the skating rink and you were at a lock-in, this is the show for you. If you think that Tevin Campbell was the original Prince of R&B, this is the show for you. If you don't understand the conflict between Monica and Brandy, but you're kind of on Monica's side and understand why Brandy got punched, this is the show for you. Make sure that you tune in, subscribe, click the little subscribe link. We're here. We're going to talk about all things 90s music. This is the show for you.
And your
Absolutely.
ability to trust God.
Absolutely. It took me out from the count. I was like, I
Hmm.
don't want to empower anybody because at this
Yeah,
moment, I don't even know how to pull myself up out of
out
this.
of this.
I don't even know if I believe myself what I'm putting out there, that, you know, Anything that you're going through, you can get through. And that moment, I was like, I don't really see an out from here. I don't see where I go from here. I'm ashamed, I'm embarrassed, and I'm just at a point where I'm like, I don't even think that I'll be able to ever love or trust anybody else.
Mhm.
Because this person, people say, oh, you knew, you had to know. When I tell you,
I don't believe you
kicked
didn't know.
in, my
Hmm.
discernment did kick in a lot of ways, but they had an answer for everything. Anything that I could throw out to them, there was an answer for it.
Hmm.
There was a specific time, and I've never told this story. There was a specific time where he just went like ghost unavailable. We had a set time that we were supposed to FaceTime because, like I said, he
FaceTime,
lived out
yeah,
of town,
right.
and I'm ready. I'm set up. I'm ready to FaceTime, and I cannot get a hold of him whatsoever. I'm like calling, texting. I can't get a hold of him. So at this point, I'm completely upset because I'm like, you set these plans with me. I canceled everything. Like, this was your idea. Like, where were you? What's going on? So come to find out, what he did was he ended up texting me photos from a car accident, and he said that he was in a car accident and that's why he was unavailable. So now I can't be mad at you, right? Because you were in a car accident. So now I'm switching into apology
Okay,
mode and checking on you and seeing if you were okay.
so y'all know here at Womanology, I'm not wrapped too tight. I'm working on this, but I would
Girl.
have been calling and blowing up your phone because if you in a car accident, you call 911, then you call me. Cause I'm the person who you go and lean on. So you call 911, yes, police officer, and then you call Ria, and then she gonna be on the phone with you until the 911 people come. That's
No,
how I
ma'am. He was like, he had the car accident. They took him to the emergency and literally sent me pictures, which now, when I think about it, I'm like, those pictures could have came from Google.
girl,
For all I knew, he could have Googled car accident Honda Civic. For all I know, and got and sent those pictures to me. But at the time, I'm just like, oh my gosh, are you okay? So like I said, he there was always like certain red flags
answer.
where he would
Yeah.
disappear, but then he would have this dramatic answer. Oh, my house got flooded, or oh, the kids, I had to pick up the kids, something to where I could not, in good faith confront him anymore because he had an excuse.
And I can understand that because a lot of times when you're in relationships, and this is somebody just speaking candidly for myself, when you are in a relationship and you're in, you in it, you don't see outside what others see
Mm-hmm.
because your feelings are involved. You love this
Yeah.
person. Like you want to believe them, you want to trust them. So I'm going to believe you. I'm going to trust you because why wouldn't I believe you? Why wouldn't I
Why
trust you?
wouldn't I believe you? And then he knew so much about me. He knew me inside and out. So where he would even twist the things that I told him about my past to be like, listen, I know you went through that before, but this ain't that. You don't have to be
Mhm.
like that with me. So he was good at what he did.
Yeah. Because it is. Why wouldn't you want to believe you're a person, right? So and that's a lot of times we as women, because I'm guilty of it too. I'm not going to sit up here and act like, you want to believe the person that you're dating that you, like you said, will consistently or eventually, I should say, get married to. You all were consistently dating, so eventually you all would get married to each other. Why wouldn't you want to believe, this person? Y'all have moved on to something serious. So I
Mhm.
don't feel like you will lie to me. We're friends out of any, and I think a lot of times when it comes to relationships like that, not only is it a loving relationship, but you build a rapport as a friendship.
As a friend. And we
Like
knew each
that's
other as children. So that's
Mhm.
why I really thought, if nothing else, you as the homie should have wanted to look out for me
Yes.
and not hurt me. So I think that's what made it hurt even more. It's like you didn't have to do, like, you could have just been honest and given me a choice. Now my choice would have been heck no,
But you should have
but
told me.
but I should have had a choice
That's what
nonetheless.
listen, I don't think a lot of times when you come into relationships, give me a choice. Let me make my own decisions. If I am able to make my own decisions, I'm not going to crash out. I'm not going to be at your mama house at 2 a.m. I'm not, I didn't do that now, y'all. I ain't that crazy, but I'm just saying. But what I'm saying is, I'm not going to do the extreme because you gave me a choice. You gave me that control, so I'm able to figure out what what's best and how to move forward. So yeah, So
Absolutely.
you talked about that. Keep on telling us.
Yes. So that was just one of the many obstacles. So there are a lot of friends that I lost along.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, there you go.
Hmm.
Oh no, but I was saying, so yeah, that was one of the many obstacles, along with a lot of friends that I lost along the way, along with just different challenges. My son has special needs, so different challenges that he was facing, and just blaming myself for his condition. And my daughter was going through that tricky teenage stage at the time, and so it was just so many things that as I was trying to empower that were just attacking me on the back end, left and right. And so I tell anybody, a lot of people want to be marked and chosen and put in the forefront. But when I tell you, true people that are called, they don't want it because it's not easy. It's definitely a walk that is not for the weak. And the warfare is going to come at every turn. And I am just now
Right.
getting to a place where I'm able to, okay, whatever
Breathe.
is going on, I
Hmm.
know it looks negative right now, but instead of me being upset about it, instead of me being afraid of the outcome, I'm going to get excited in advance because this obstacle is an opportunity for God to show me how He's going to pull me out. So all I have to do is sit back and just see how He's going to do it. I know He is going to do it. Now I just sit back and look and see how and when.
And how it's going
And,
to show up.
mhm.
So you mentioned about your daughters and you mentioned about your son. Um, what do you want to say in that season? How your son and your daughter was really testing your faith?
My son in particular, because I really felt like some of the decisions that I had made earlier in my life were the reason why he has special needs. So when I was in college, I had to make a very difficult decision to have an abortion. So, with my son's condition in my mind, that was my karma, so to speak. That was my cross to bear because of that decision that I made back in college. So,
Hmm.
I internalized a lot of that. And
Hmm.
just seeing him have struggles to do what other children could do so easily and so naturally, or being out in public with him and I'm having to carry him to soothe him, and people are just so cruel. They're just looking like, why is she carrying that
Hmm.
big old boy? She needs to put him down.
They have
And
no
it's
idea.
like they have no idea, but
Hmm.
people, they just say what's the first thing that's on their mind. So it was a very
Hmm.
trying season for me until I came across a woman who told me, she said, you know what? She said, special needs children, all children are close to God and God loves kids, but she says special
Sure.
needs children are especially, god's
Close.
god's gift. They are covered by
Hmm.
God. And she said, God must think really highly of you to trust you with one.
Yeah.
And when
And I
she
was,
said
yeah.
that, my whole perspective on it changed. I stopped thinking of it as a punishment or as karma and started to consider it a blessing that God would
Hmm.
entrust me with this child that takes more to love.
Yeah, when I as a school psychologist and I am around a lot of students who just need extra help and extra love, I tell parents that all the time. Like, you must have did something so responsible for you to have a child that needs the most care and the most patience. And that's what I want to make sure that all parents who are parents of special needs children understand that you did something good to even have that big of responsibility, because being a
Yeah.
parent is also a responsible, like, you got to keep a whole human alive. Like, I'm a mom, like, for real, like, you got to eat. Oh, really? Forgot. Like,
You got to
but
eat, you got to be a good human being and, productive in society and know how
yeah,
to have good credit and pay bills and do well for
and
yourself.
all this other stuff.
It's a
And then
lot.
on top of that, you have a whole other human to make sure that they are okay, that they
Yeah.
are content. Like, do they have everything? As you stated, even past the adaptability stage where they're supposed to have it all together.
Yep.
So yeah, I like that's what you were told during your season of, I don't want to say dark time, but during your season of a trying time. We'll just say that.
Yeah.
What about
Because
your
it helped
daughter?
me. So
Yeah.
my daughter, let me tell you, teenage girls are ghetto.
See, I have a son. I have a
Oh my
son.
gosh.
I have a
I
son, but I have nieces though. I have nieces, and my nieces are I've had a lot of nieces, but my nieces now are teenagers. And then my niece who's similar to the same age as my son is not a teenager. She's 21. My son will be 20. So I don't know. I think
It's
they're
a
friends.
difference. I when she was younger, she was
Hmm.
like my shadow.
Hmm.
She was my bestie. And something happened around 11, 12, 13 to like 16, 17. That whole period was just, Lord, I don't know how we made it, but I'm glad we did. It was
We
a
went through
it
that.
was a faith walk for that entire age period because her attitude just shifted,
Hmm.
and she wasn't really impressed by much. No matter what I did, how much I did, it just was never enough, and I
Hmm.
wasn't the cool mom that I thought I was. And I was just like, wait a minute, like what, who is this person, what is going on? But I mean, the crazy part is when I talk to my own mother about it, she's like, mm-hmm, sounds familiar, you got it honest. So so I don't remember being that, well, yeah, I guess I was kind of bad. But so
Hmm.
basically it was getting that dose of my own
Your own
medicine that I
medicine,
was
yeah.
not prepared for. But just as somebody told me, because she'll
Hmm.
be 19 next month,
Hmm.
around 17, 18, the shift came back and the tide turned, and now it's a lot better.
Yeah, I think it's just growing pains, because as parents, we have growing pains because we're trying to grow with our children. And
Mhm.
then they are trying to figure out themselves and their identity. And we're trying to figure out ourselves and our new type of parenting role because, you parent by age as they get older.
Exactly.
So I think sometimes it just bumps heads. It's just growing pains. You're just trying to figure that out and then trying to remain faithful and stay trustworthy, in your purpose and with God. So I have a question. Now that
Sure.
we're talking about your purpose and you being an inspirational speaker, how many, I guess, in a year, opportunities were you given to pour into women? Or just
Ooh.
people in general, because I don't want to say that that's all you're pouring into is women, but just people in general.
Yeah, so around the time of the pandemic, that's when I was the most active because I got furloughed from my job. And so I
Mm-hmm.
was completely 100% doing the entrepreneur thing. I would say I was doing about 4 engagements a month.
Mm, that's really
During that
good.
whole 2020 year, whether they were virtual or in person, I was doing about 4 a month. And then after that, when I shifted into working full time,
Mm-hmm.
now I'm just now kind of getting my rhythm. I took a long stretch where I would do virtual things here and there.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm finally at a place where I'm like, okay, it's time to get back out there because I noticed that my 9 to 5 was consuming so much of my time and so much of my energy that purpose within me wasn't being fulfilled. It wasn't being
For
utilized.
sure.
And God was just like, okay, when do I get my time?
Mm-hmm.
When is my business going to be attended to? So now I'm at that point where I'm like, okay, I'm going to get back out there and get active. And just as I told you before, I literally, was obedient in recording a podcast this year just
Mm-hmm.
on a whim. Literally was in the car with my friend, had him drive to the studio, and we recorded an episode just like that. And just off of that one act of obedience that happened January the 1st,
Mm-hmm.
I have been interviewed on 3 platforms, including this one. And I also have a couple things set up for next week when I go to St. Louis. So it's just a matter of just taking that initial step of obedience, because once you do, then God is going to open every door that needs to be open. And He's going to
Every
put you on the
single
hearts and the
door.
minds of people so that they reach out to you.
Every single door. It's like this meme, or maybe it was a TikTok I seen. It was a TikTok that I seen. And so it's like a person just like, okay, this is how God acts. You kind of waiting in the waiting room, waiting,
Mhm.
waiting, waiting in the waiting room, do, 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 do. And he's looking up and he's like, no, God. And he's like, no. And then you just kind of waiting, waiting, waiting. And then where it says that SpongeBob thing 5 hours later.
Later.
And then you still waiting. And then God will whisper and say like now, and then all of a sudden it's just like the ground is running. Like you got to be ready. Like it's time
Full
to
steam
go,
ahead. Yes.
go. And you're like, no. And he's like, we've been waiting. I've told you I'm gonna give you your turn, but now here's your turn. Be
Yep.
prepared for your turn. So yeah, just full speed ahead. So
That's
yeah, so I
exactly
like
how it
that.
is.
Okay, so I can't wait. So I want to know more about your speaking engagements once you come to St. Louis, so I can like probably pop up and see them because
Yes.
I would love to hear you, like for
So
real.
just an exclusive. In St. Louis, I'm actually going to be
Exclusive.
recording. I'm going to be doing some recording of an actual talk show format. So there's gonna be a couple of shows I'm gonna get in the pipeline so that I can release them as like a pilot or a teaser, and I plan to come out with a full season. So I'm really trying to walk into my Oprah, Barbara Walters, J Hood.
Womanology got it
Yes,
first.
I'm trying to walk
Hey.
in that this year. So I'm gonna be doing some recording, and I'm super excited.
I love that. Okay, so I do want to know, how do you practice self love? Because we talked about the
Ooh,
trying times, we talked about, just how it was just the darkest season. We went through a lot with the relationship that we were supposed to have. So, how do you practice just pouring into yourself? Because you are pouring into others all the time.
yeah. So a couple of things. The first thing is by setting boundaries.
Ooh,
That was very important for me because I am a reformed people pleaser.
yes,
And I
yes,
used to be all for just wanting people to be happy with me, and people
yeah.
to like me and people to love me. And
Mm-hmm.
once I had to go through those situations where I became a doormat and it wasn't so fun, I said, okay, now I have to set these boundaries. Because you referenced Pastor Brian earlier. He talked about something that was so profound to me. He said that givers have to have limits because takers don't.
Takers don't have any limits. And I remember being an overly giver, wanting
Yep.
to be a pleaser to everyone, to anybody who came in contact with, like, am I okay? Is this okay? Is this how it's supposed to
Yep.
be? Just being perfect patty. Like, and a lot of women deal with trying to be perfect patty because they don't want to ruffle feathers. You don't
Yep.
want to seem aggressive. You don't want to seem ungrateful. You don't want to seem naggy. So what do you become? You become a people pleaser, a perfect patty. So you're
Yeah.
right. I remember him saying that givers, you know, uh, need to put a pause
Yep.
on that because takers don't have one. They
They don't.
don't.
And I had this understanding that, like, oh, if I was just good enough or nice enough, people would appreciate that and appreciate me. And it's like, no, people are just going to
No.
drain you until the well is dry. So, one of the ways that I
And then
practice
go to
self love
something else.
now, and go to another supply
Mm-hmm.
and act like you never did a thing for them.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
had to practice within myself. Okay, I love myself enough to make sure that I'm only in environments and having relationships that are also feeding me back, that are also pouring back into me in my personal life.
Yeah.
And one of the other things was learning how to say no and be okay with it,
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
I was always scared to say no.
Same.
Like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
they're going to talk about me. Well, let me tell you something. They're going to talk about you if you say yes. So
They
you
gonna-
might as well say your no's and be okay, because you have to love yourself enough to know what you are worth. So
Mhm.
that is what I'm working on the emotional and mental side. And then just the practical things that I do, I love a good massage, a
Ooh,
good meal at a good restaurant.
I love a
um
nice meal at a restaurant.
yes, honey, a good brunch, or
I
a
love that.
happy hour lunch, dinner, any
I'm
of
not a
that.
massage person though. Like I'm not.
Really?
Don't touch me, masseuse. I just don't even want to be touched by people that don't touch me, masseuse. Now, that don't mean I don't like physical touch because I love hugging my son, and you know, if I'm in a relationship, I'm be all over my man. But don't touch me, masseuse. I don't like all that. Like I'm good.
See, no, I will go to sleep. And it has to be a license. Listen, because I know it's a lot of things going around on social media with these men that are just rubbing people and yeah, no, not like that.
His hand is really
Actually,
close, sister girl. His hand is really close. How close do you
so
want that hand to go?
none of that. But a licensed professional that actually has studied the anatomy of the body and the pressure points and the
Yeah.
muscles, that type of professional massage I love. And then just being around the people that pour into me, like,
Mhm.
no, I love a good conversation, a good one-on-one with someone who pours into me.
Me too. I love like being around friends, family, and we're just having great conversation and we're just,
Yes,
just loving on each other. So I think that community is really good when it comes to self-love. Self-love, I'm sorry.
absolutely.
So like have you ever abandoned yourself when you were trying to people please and trying to make sure that everything's okay?
Absolutely. I think anytime that I went against what I wanted to do or what I knew was right in order to get a smile of approval from someone else, I was definitely abandoning myself. And in abandoning myself, that illuminated low self esteem.
Mhm.
And I
Mhm.
didn't want to accept that. I was like, no, I like myself. I love myself. But you can't possibly love yourself if you are constantly
So
going against everything that you want and need in order to put someone else's feelings and needs as a priority.
that's true. It's like when you're in a relationship with yourself. So when you're
Mhm.
in a relationship and you want to make sure they have all their snacks, their favorite snacks. You want to make sure
Yes.
we're watching their shows. I'm rooting for his team. I'm doing everything that he likes to do, but I am leaving myself out because remember, you have a relationship with yourself as well. So
Mhm.
you need to, again, give yourself that massage. For me, I like a good cup of coffee and a nice walk in the park. That really kind of soothes me. So
Yes.
you have to pour and you have to work on not abandoning yourself. And another reason why I ask that, because you are a mom, I'm a mom, and we get lost in the sauce sometimes. You're right. As a parent, we do, we abandon ourselves because we have to make sure that our kids are okay. And then sometimes we just get lost in the sauce. I'll never forget. I think I was in post grad school, right? So I'm in post grad school, and my son has always been my shadow because it's always been him and I. And I think he was like about 10 years old, and he was just like, Mommy, Mommy, because at the time he still called me Mommy. Now I'm Mom. But, at the time I was still being called Mommy. And I was just like, I just need 5 minutes. And I would come in my room, go in my room and close my door. And I just used to say, I just need 5 minutes. And so it was so cute because it gotten to a point to where he'll be like,
I'm Doja. They sleep. Yeah, we part of Just Posted Podcast, man. The best show on this network. Come on, check, girl.
Seriously, man, just posted. It's just me and Doja sitting back talking about what the fuck going on in the world and the streets.
We said labor of love. He said labor of love. I ain't say that shit. Shout out to everybody coming to watch though, man. We really appreciate y'all. Holla at y'all later.
Hey man, this nigga just tall for no reason.
gone.
And he
Peace.
do regular jobs. Don't forget that.
I'll come home. And he'll be like, You need 5 minutes? And I'm like, Yes, I
Oh.
need 5 minutes. Because I was in post grad school and I was working full time and I was doing clinicals and I was trying to do boom, boom, pow. And I'm just like, Oh my gosh. But during that time period, I know I abandoned myself because I just wasn't the most healthiest. I wasn't doing the things that I enjoy, and because when you're a mom and you're in school, and you have a lot on your plate, you do, tend to not pour into you.
Yeah, you were in survival mode instead
You in
of
survival mode.
thriving.
Yeah. And right now, I'm happy that we're both out of that survival mode and we're getting into that softness. That like if I
Whew.
don't feel comfortable, I'm not doing it. Like
That
if
is
it's
literally
not
my era right now. That soft
that
feminine
soft feminine and
era.
just yes, if I don't feel comfortable, I'm not doing it. If I don't feel loved in this area, I'm not going. Like if these people don't receive me and I can't receive them, it's yeah, I'm in that era. So here's my last question. How often do you speak to God? How often do you and him
Ooh.
converse and talk
So
and
I speak to
all the
God
things?
daily. And
Uh-huh.
I don't say that I speak to God daily in a way that's like, call into the heavens like, Lord God, I come to you in the name of Jesus. I
Falling on the floor.
that's not it. I talk to God the same way I'm talking to you. I'm like, listen,
Hmm.
God, you know
Uh-huh.
me, you know your girl.
Uh-huh.
This right here,
Uh-huh.
you gonna have to come in because I ain't got it. Like
I ain't
I
got it.
literally talk to God because I'm like, there's no need for me to fake because He knows me inside and out, up and down. So I don't need to use eloquent speech with Him. I don't need to, force out any type of hooping and hollering. He
Mm-mm.
knows me. He knows my heart, and He loves me the way that I am, and wants me to get, to a closer place with Him. So I just talk to Him like He is one of my friends, and since my father has passed, my earthly father,
Yeah,
I
I
talk to
have
him,
my
as
condolences to that.
oh, thank you.
For sure. For sure.
But yeah, I talk to him as Abba, as my father, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, tell me what to do, expose this, if let me know if this is the right way to go. So every day I'm saying something. I'm in some type of communication with God on an informal level.
Yeah.
And I do have those moments sometimes throughout the week where I actually take out the prayer shawl and make it a little more formal, but for the most part
Mm-hmm.
I'm just having a conversation with him like I'm having a conversation with you.
I talk to God all the time. I have set times to where I pray, but I talk to Him all the time. I have been
Yeah.
through some things to where He has ripped me out, and I don't even know how I survived. Physically, I don't know how I
Yeah.
survived. And so, like, I have talked to Him like a lot, just
And
throughout
not
the
only ripped you out, but ripped you out to where you don't have a stain on you. Isn't that something?
girl.
Where
Mm-mm.
there's no residue
Mm-mm,
of
where's
what was.
nothing? Because with like I say, physically, so I had, and I'm going to talk more about this on the podcast, but I had a surgery in 2023, and I had like fibroids removed, and it was a lot of them, and then um I had cysts removed and
Oh
ovary is
wow.
gone. Like, well, damaged, not gone. But yes. And I will never forget waking up from surgery in the most pain. The most pain. That pain, I wish
Oh.
nobody on. I was in the worst pain. Oh gosh. And I will never forget the nurse. She was like, we're trying. And I'm like, I am in pain. I'm dying. It was the
Wow.
worst thing ever. And so when I say yes, he has I'm all right.
He's really he's something. He's
I'm
an
all right.
amazing God, and the way that he covers us is just it blows my mind. There was a time when was that? I want to say it was like September, October. I was living downtown,
Hmm.
and it
Hmm.
was early on a Sunday morning.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know if you were here, but I was supposed to go to church with Chloe. Early
Okay.
Sunday on a Sunday morning, it was 8 a.m. and I'm asleep in my apartment. And the way my apartment is set up,
Hmm.
downtown, it was a studio.
Hmm.
So the living room window, I had actually like carved out a space where my bedroom and the living room were like that full area.
For sure.
There was a man that was just up against the
Ooh.
window full force with his foot, like with his boot. He couldn't get in that way. So then he started to do the same thing to the patio door. knocked the
Oh,
patio door
Jesus.
off the hinges, and I'm just in there by myself. My daughter was gone. She
Mm-hmm.
was with my cousin that weekend, and
Mm-hmm.
I have no gun because I'm
Mm-hmm.
just, too
Mm-hmm.
clumsy for all of that. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
just like, what in the world is going on? So I jump up out of
Mm-hmm.
bed and I'm like yelling at this man through the window. And I'm like, go away or I'm going to shoot. I don't
Mm-hmm.
have a gun in real life.
For sure, but you need to protect yourself. Say
But I'm
something.
like, I need to say something. And the man looks me dead in my face and then
Mm-hmm.
just hops back over the little fence and runs away.
Thank God.
And it's just
That
like the
covering.
way that God covers is just so,
Mm.
that story could have went completely
Completely different.
different.
That covering. That
It's that
covering
covering and the fact that even my daughter wasn't there, so she didn't
is
have to
so
hear
beautiful.
or
God,
witness
you
the
are
trauma.
awesome. Yes.
But it
Mm-hmm.
was it was something, and it was one of those things where I'm like, I'm so glad that he protects us from danger, both seen and
And
unseen, because we never know what's going on around us and what's in the minds of some of these people that are walking around day to day, and how their life could possibly collide with and impact ours. But God always covers.
He always covers. So, is there anything else you want to tell us? You gave us some exclusive, so I'm excited about that.
Yes, I'm excited to
But is there
record.
anything else you want to tell us here at Womanology? Thanks for coming on. I appreciate you so much, old friend.
Thank
So,
you. I appreciate the offer to come on. That's just, I am just honored to be on this platform. Like you said, we go way, 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 way back to CRCP, and
on the
um,
road. Mm-hmm.
Daryl was one of the first people to call me for an interview. So absolutely love SOLC, and are so grateful for you guys. But I would just say that a lot of times we get caught up in what we have going on,
Mm-hmm.
and we second guess ourselves and we doubt
Mm-hmm.
ourselves and we talk ourselves out of things. But
Mm-hmm.
as we alluded to in the beginning of the podcast, I want everybody to know that it is time for us to take all those
Mm-hmm.
shots, to go for,
Take your shots.
take your shot, go for everything you ever wanted. Because if you look around you, it's not the people that are the best at it that are
Mm-hmm.
excelling in it and that are doing well. It's the people that
Mm-hmm.
were the boldest and the most consistent. So,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is you have inside of you that you want to do, you
Mm-hmm.
have nothing to lose. Just go for it and just try it, because there's somebody out there that is praying for a you. And the way that I was able to get my revelation by looking at Sarah Jakes Roberts, there's somebody that's going to get their revelation by looking at Ria, or
Mm-hmm.
looking at whoever is watching.
Thank you.
And they don't have the same, delivery that we have. So they won't have the same audience that we have. But those other people out there that are assigned to them, that they're called to reach, may never get that revelation if they don't start. So you need to
Thank
start.
you. Is there a scripture you wanna state for us here at Womenology?
Oh, so my favorite is going to be Psalm 37:4. Delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the
Ooh,
desires
is
of
of
your
your
heart.
heart.
So seek
Yes.
him first and delight yourself in him. Be cheerful in God
Hmm.
and happy in God, and want to grow closer to God and seek God, and everything you've ever wanted will be added unto you.
It is. So mine right now, I go by themes. It's Romans 8:28.
Oh, that's a good one.
Girl, uh, how it talks about purpose.
Yes.
And he's already had a purpose. I just gotta follow through.
Yes.
So thank you. We appreciate you here at Womenology. All right, guys. I am Ria and this is Lauren. And you can find this at Womenology underscore podcast on Instagram. And Lauren, you want to know where we can find you?
So you can find me at the Lauren Spearman on Instagram and Lauren Spearman on Facebook. And I have a podcast that you can find as well on Instagram, Apple, Spotify, iHeart. Check on your strong friends.
All the things, all the
All the
things.
things.
All right, guys. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.